Though it's nearly 4,500 miles between Brookings and Spain, basketball in that country will have a South Dakota State flair. 1 month after the greatest women's basketball player in Jackrabbit history, Macy Miller, signed to play in Spain, the greatest men's player will join her as Mike Daum signed his first professional contract to play for Obradoiro Cab in Santiago de Compostela. I have no idea if I said that right, but I sure enjoyed trying. SDSU's all-time leader in points, rebounds, free throws, and three-pointers. Daum is 7th in the all-time leading scorer in NCAA history with 3,067 points. He spent some time in the NBA Summer League and will play in the top professional league in Spain, which tips off in late September. Over the last 3 years, you'll get a read on how good the Minnesota Vikings are by looking at the performance of their offensive line. At their best, they made the NFC Championship game in 2017. At their worst, they couldn't even get into the postseason in 2016 and 18. So it's easy to see why that unit is the point of emphasis at the start of training camp in Eagan. Along with veteran guard Josh Klein, rookie center Garrett Bradbury is expected to be one of the 2 new starters along the O-line. The 18th overall pick in the draft was a consensus All-American at North Carolina State and won the Remington Award for Best Center in college football. The Vikings are counting on him to be the anchor of a physical line that will help them reestablish their run game. Minnesota went from 7th in the NFL in rushing yards per game in 2017 to 30th last season, averaging just 93 per game.
Just reps, just learning this new system, believing in it, and just going out and doing it every day. I mean, our goal is just to come out here and work, learn the system, and move forward day by day.
Well, he's got a very business-like personality. Wants to be right, wants to do things the right way. I think he's got an aggressive nature. So I think he's going to fit in fine.
The Vikings preseason opener is a little under 2 weeks away on August 9th at New Orleans, and the regular season begins at home against Atlanta on September 8th. It's been quite a summer for the Sioux Falls Steel fast-pitch softball team. With ring neck and state championships already under their belt, the Steel have been dominant at the USA Softball Northern Nationals, entering today's final day of play with an unbeaten record. This morning at 10 a.m., they faced off with a team out of Chicago, Windy City, and they get off to a great start. Kenzie Risnes makes contact, and while the fielders do not make contact, they can't get to the ball. That scores a run. Steel lead 2-0 after 1. Next inning, they showed some firepower. Bases loaded. They're not loaded anymore. SDSU recruits Cheyenne Masterson with a grand slam. It's now 7-0 after 2. Windy City trying to rally in the third inning as Jessica Katzen will find some room up the middle. Emma Osmondson kind of misplays that, and that'll allow 3 runs to come in to score. It's 8-3, but Steel still had plenty more pop in their bats, as so did Masterson. This is her second home run of the game, as Sioux Falls easily goes on to get the victory by a final of 11-3. Now they advance to some afternoon play as well. They played the Southeast Flyers. They beat them 8-5. A championship game is currently underway. We'll hopefully have maybe a highlight or 2 of that coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. Meanwhile, at the State A Legion tournament in Mitchell, it's loser-out play. Defending champion Rapid City Post 22, they got stunned yesterday. They needed a 2-run rally in extra innings to walk off Watertown and keep their season alive, but they get it done 3-2 in 8 innings. And in the second game of the day, Pierre blanks Harrisburg to eliminate them 2-0 and stay alive. Now in the winners bracket, games are just underway. We've got a rematch of last week's Region 2A final when Brandon Valley pretty much dominated Yankton down in Yankton the whole weekend. Well, a little different story this week. Yankton up 2-1 in the third inning. Renner and host Mitchell will follow this game up about 30 minutes later. We're going to have highlights from both coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. Also have the Twins and Canaries in action as well. Finally, it's the final day of the South Dakota State Long Course Swimming Championships. 411 swimmers from 20 communities converging on the Midco Aquatic Center, and today was a great relay performance for the Sioux Falls swim team. That's O'Gorman's Katie Party bringing in their 15 and up 400-meter relay team in 4:01.74, and with some enthusiastic support, it's Roosevelt grad Andrew Iverson helping the boys team coast to victory in 3:44.62. Congrats to all the swimmers out at the Midco Aquatics Center this weekend. Also, one other note, Chris Nilsson competing at the USA National Track and Field Championships. We kind of talked about that on Thursday. Unfortunately, he was dealing with some cramps today, didn't really have his best stuff, and finishes in a tie for 7th. Still a great year for him, though, which of course included a national championship. Plenty more highlights coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. Until then, we'll be back in 1 moment.